All right, everyone, we are back with War 3 against GT40. Today I will be taking in Absorbing Man, Mantis, and Lady Deathstrike. I'm sharing path 8 in section 1, and I've got path 4 in section 2, and then 3 shared fights. So, did this fight over the weekend, had a tournament, so that's why all of these are kind of late. Path 8 here, we split. First fight was taken by someone else. Second fight here is Spot. I'm taking it with Mantis, and as you saw last war, I'm not too worried about Mantis anymore, or not Mantis, Spot anymore. Thought in the past that I had to strictly rely on Infuriate, but I can definitely rely on Intimidate instead and grind my mixed emotions from there and just not care about Untouchable. So nothing to worry about with this node. We're not really relying on parry. Even if we had to, or even if we didn't have to, we can just bait out heavies. So my game plan here was pretty simple. I'm actually still going to do some intercepting with Infuriate to start until he's at about a bar of power. And then when we are close to there, we're going to slap on Intimidate. And then now we're going to build mixed emotions from here while building his spots, which is perfectly fine. He's going to have a special one ready out of the Intimidate. So once he throws it, we can go ahead and trigger his spots and his Untouchable right here. And now we just wait it out. And this gives us a nice little period without any spots built up on him. And we already have our special 2 ready with the mixed emotions. So it's just getting there by power. And then once we're there, we finish the fight. Heavy charge into special 2, finish Spot off, easy peasy. So very, very, very simple fight. Section 2, path 4 here, Dust. Now, taking this with Lady Deathstrike, who's not banned. And of course, her damage is based off her armor rating. And then this node, specifically, armor breaks you when the defender throws a special attack. So this is kind of a trap. Except Dust is really easy to fight and it's really hard to die. So it's more of a timeout trap if you use Lady Deathstrike. I'd say if you're trying to stall out your opponent, this is a good place to do it. If Lady Deathstrike is open, it's not the only option. I would pretty much just go Viv here since there's no power sting. But we had someone else in another BG take this fight. It ended with 45 seconds left. And we deduced that we should go half recoils here so that we don't die out from the bleed with the heal block. So even though the heal block disappears, you still lose the willpower duration for whatever the heal block duration would have been. So if we had poison, we'd be taking poison damage, sure, at only 10% potency, but that's still something depending on how long this fight will go. And at the time, I had no clue with recoils how this was going to go out. So ends up being a pretty solid fight. I mean, the game plan here was to parry mediums, so make range for that. Bait out her special 1, rinse and repeat. I'm not going to throw any special attacks. I didn't want the special 3 animation to eat up the timer. So here we're just relying strictly on beating Dust down. And I mean, I've done this same song and dance, same old song and dance with Omega Sentinel, but she has a higher attack rating than Lady Deathstrike. So, I mean, there are windows where we get an armor up, and we actually have rupture damage, but you can see sometimes after a special attack, rupture damage just kind of disappears, and that's due to the lack of an armor rating. So, ends up being a pretty solid fight. We end up finishing with close to 2 minutes left, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm really happy we threw on half recoils. It also works out for our remaining fights. So down goes Dust. Next up, a classic, Absorbing Man versus this Knull here, which can end up sort of sketchy. So I went with an invuln instead of a special 1, or PS1, sorry. PS1 and going into the Incinerate Magma. Typically ideal after getting a special 2 out of Knull. But here the game plan, he's going to start off unblockable thanks to his SIG. We're going to hit into his block, try to push him to 1 bar of power while we build a bar of power. And then once he has a bar, when we do these attacks into block, we're going to try to kind of phantom block, as in go into a block but not actually take a blocked hit. And you see there, Knull decided to dash back when we did, and he threw special 1 right away. So part of it here, now I'm stalling, I'm waiting for that corruption to come up, and right as it's going to, I'm going to throw special 1. I'm a little bit too late, so we get hit with reverse controls. Now I have to play reverse here after he takes a couple hits to me. But we've been refined, so at least we're doing some burst damage. Full dex there in reverse controls, so perfectly fine there. And here I decide to just go hit into his block, and luckily 1 crit, boom, goes Knull. So we clutched it. Move on to another Lady Deathstrike fight. We're taking this bishop here. Again, the power snack is going to eat up our armor rating. However, once we get our combo high enough, our passive armor ups should stick. So we're actually going to end up with rupture damage here, even if power snack keeps taking our armor up. The big thing here is utilizing the tactic for the power gain. And you're going to see there's a couple times we get really close to a special 3, and that's what the invulnerability boost is for. We just have to be really, really mindful and hopeful that we can stop right after a special 2 on bishop, back off, and that he'll throw it immediately. And you see I end with a medium there in case we don't have the heal block passive up, which, I mean, honestly, it should be up the entire time during this fight, thanks to every hit placing a debuff. And then I've got half recoils on. I'm just not going to bother with special attacks. I also don't want to accidentally trigger or during a special attack have power snack go off or his passive power gain from the tactic shoot him to a special 3, and then we end up eating it. And then you see there, he was just a little bit stubborn. Decided to throw a special 1 after dancing in my block. So now we're going to wait out that passive so we don't get incinerated, and kind of unfortunate. I was worried here we were going to get another special 1 just off of power snack, but luckily the timing worked out. He didn't get pushed to special 1, so now we can go back into the rhythm of block baiting heavies as we push him to special 2 and then bait out the special 2s. But yeah, this one didn't end up being as scary. You see there, he got pretty close to a special 3. And I'm also not using my relic here. The vision relic does do some energy damage, and I don't want these special 2s to be unblockable and have prowess. So we're just beating him down. A little bit easier than Dust. And you can tell that by the timer. We move on to one I'm not nervous about, because I've done before, and that's Sauron here on high energy diet. So I believe I took this last war. I mean, all it is here is making sure you have a heal block up at all times, which is virtually impossible to not have one up just from the debuffs and ending with medium combos. And then here it's just baiting out special 1s. Maybe don't push them to special 2 in case that, especially ending with a medium, in case that first hit of that special 2 catches us while we're trying to dash back. But yeah, this one's a pretty solid assignment. Not really much to worry about. And then just like last war, we didn't throw many special attacks, so we actually have more attack here with this half recoils going into this fight. But yeah, pretty smooth. Once I got through those other fights, I felt like the rest of my war would be pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I mean, they're fights I've done before, so, and I've gotten very comfortable doing. So just cleaning them up here. It's very nice to finally have a bunch of rupture damage that's uninterrupted. Keep our armor ups. Yeah, pretty simple. Just got to look out for his unblockable if we don't end with a medium, that is. Our own kit heal block will prevent the unblockable, but the passive will not. It's not part of her kit. And you'll see the unblockable triggers, but the ability fails. Nearing the end here, getting to the last quarter of his health. Probably going to be one more special 1 out before we combo him down. Being stubborn, throws it, good. Go in, combo, and we finish it. And then the last fight of this war is the good old Photon fight using Mantis. So here, my nerves are starting to come down, but I still got some of them. So I'm a bit sloppy on hitting the combos at a slower pace to prevent hazard shift from sticking, but I mean, it doesn't matter to Mantis. As long as I'm not going absolutely insane, it's not a worry. And then I have skill power backs here for this fight. I think when I start taking Photon here, I'm going to stop using them. She ends up KOing from a special 2 anyways. I don't really need them for her here. It's more for that regen node 37, personal space regen, since we're dealing with a full health Photon by the time we throw special 2, as opposed to one that I've pretty much punched in the face till we're ready to throw this special 2 here. And so we're lining up here. Last heavy, charge it up. No debuffs when we release this thing, perfect. And bye-bye goes Photon. So that was the end of my war. Nice little load for GT40. That will put me at 15-0. So a good start to the season. First week is over. And then we ended up losing that war. I mean, we had a good war. It was 5-3. Or maybe it was 5-4. But GT40, you got to bring out your best. So slowly but surely, we're making ourselves dangerous to play against. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit subscribe, give it a like, and I will catch you guys at the next war.